Hey guys, Brandon Woolham, and today we are checking in with our friend Michael W. Smith. How are we, man?
Doing great. Lots
Good.
going on, but grateful.
Yeah, so as we talk, a new song comes out tomorrow, but by the time this gets into people's feeds, it'll probably be out there streaming. Arms Around the Sun is either not out there yet, it'll be tomorrow, or if you're seeing this on Friday, it is out there on all your streaming services. Let's talk about the new song, Arms Around the Sun.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, it takes a lot for me to get excited. So, I just feel like I've kind of tapped into something kind of new and fresh and unique. It does remind me a little bit of the '80s, early '90s. There's a heavy synth thing going on. Ted T is producing with me. Ted's at the helm, so the production is massive. And then I wrote the song with a guy named Michael Olson, who used to be an artist on Rocktown Records back in the day. Now he's a worship leader in Jacksonville. He's one of my dearest friends. We've written songs together. Matter of fact, we've written 3 on this record so far. And we just kind of had this crazy idea, and we kept, going back and forth on text memos, and he knew I was sort of enamored by space and cosmos. I wanted to be an astronaut when I was a kid, and but it finally came into being when he sent me it. He sent me the chorus, and it just lit me up, and I straightened everything out musically. And all of a sudden, I was thinking, I think we have something special here. So it took 63 mixes to get the mix right, and I've got them all. I got them all documented. But you know what? Hey, if it's easy, everybody would do it. But we just kept just aiming for excellence. We got try this, Ted, try this, and man, I love it. And matter of fact, I listened to it this morning on my walk, and it I just want to make sure it still sounded as good as I thought it did, and it does.
Well, good. It's probably too late to pull that one down now if you didn't like
Probably so.
it. Well, you've been I mean, I guess technically you've been collaborating with Jesus for all of these years, but this time a little bit more of an image of Jesus that we're going to get to see in this music video and hear behind the drums on this song. You've got the Chosen's Jonathan Roomie on there. How in the world did you get him involved with this project?
Well, Jonathan's become a dear friend, and we've known each other for gosh, what 2-3 years now. And he was, he's here in Tennessee, and so we just were talking one day, and tell me, about, met his parents and talking about his past, and he just kind of sort of, you know, kind of off on the side, going, "Oh yeah, I play drums. I play jazz." I said, "You play drums? You're a drummer?" I said, "I was a drummer. I played drums by it." So we talking about drums, and I said, "Well, look, you should just come over to the studio. I've got my whole kit set up. I'm in this historical house. The drums sound incredible." So he came over, and it just happened to be when he came over, Ted T was here, and we had Arms Around the Sun up on the computer. And so we said, "Hey, just play along to Arms Around the Sun." Well, I go, "Oh my gosh, this guy can play." And so Ted says, "We're in red." And John said, "Whoa, whoa, 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 what do you mean you're in red?" I said, "We're recording." "Oh, no, no." He was like, he was a little nervous. But I guess we did probably 3-4 passes of it, and he just killed it. He just knocked it out of the park. And so when we talked about the video, directed by a 23-year-old kid named Harrison Shook, um, there was going to be obviously a throwback to, Spielberg, 80s, Stranger Things. I mean, it had a great concept, but there was going to be performance in it. And I said, "Jonathan, would you like to be in the video?" And he said, "Absolutely." So that's him playing. That's him playing drums.
Yeah, that'll be out there as soon as the song drops. So it's likely already out as you're seeing this. So look it up on YouTube or anywhere else on the internets that has the video feeds. This is you've kind of been teasing. This is going to be part of a bigger project. This is just step one. When can we expect this project to be out there? And then are we going to get any more of these surprise collaborations?
There probably will be some more surprise collaborations. I think if I could make an educated guess, I think the record will come out in the fall. But there's another single coming in 2 months, and there's another single coming 2 months after that. So I've never done this. You know this, Brandon. I've been doing this for a long time. It's such a different it's a different environment. It's a different game in terms of business and all that sort of thing. And so to me, it's like we'd always wait till the record's done, and now everybody's kind of releasing singles. I still love records. I still love it listening to albums from start to finish, and I think this record's going to hold together. But then there's this other part of me. It's like Arms Around the Sun is done. Why am I going to wait till October or September? Let's let people hear it, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah, I remember a conversation with Stephen Curtis Chapman last year, and he was kind of having that same issue. His kids had talked to him like, "Wait, you don't have to do a full album. If you only have a couple songs, just put them out there." And he talked about
Yeah,
how hard that was for him to adapt to that too.
yeah. And I'm trusting my team that people who know, wow. It's just people don't go buy CDs anymore like they used to. It's
Hmm.
the whole trying to sort of understand the streaming thing. And again, I try to understand just as much as I need to understand because I need to stay focused on creating. So.
Yeah. After all these years and all these seasons of putting albums together, when you get into this, where you're putting an album together, how many of these songs are kind of brand new, and how many are coming out of the archives of all these many years of Michael W. songs that maybe haven't made a record yet?
Yeah. Well, all these songs so far, these 12 songs that we have are all brand new.
Wow.
And it's the I don't think I've had this many upbeat songs on any record that I've ever done. And those are really sort of hard to write. I can write ballads all day. Um, but for some reason, these infectious pop things keep falling out of the sky. And I sort of just catch it and I throw it on a template and I throw a beat down. And all of a sudden, I'm going, wait a minute, this sounds like this could be on pop radio. So uh and you just have to pay attention to it. And there's not only on the pop stuff. I have a song about communion. I don't think we have enough communion songs. It's called Hymn for Communion that I wrote with Michael Olson, who wrote Arms Around the Sun. And there's a couple worship moments that are pretty powerful too, towards the end of the project. But this whole record starts out with a bang and it doesn't stop until about 75% into the record. It's sort of like bam, 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 boom, boom. It's almost like take this, take that. And I didn't intentionally try to do that. It's just the songs that sort of, like I said, fell out of the sky, all seem to kind of hold together and feel like they belong in the same family.
Yeah, we're only a couple weeks away from the tour getting kicked off again. Beyond the Far Horizon tour will be a couple legs of it. The spring leg starts here later this month. What can what can folks expect at the live show this time around?
Well, I'm trying to pull some stuff out of the archives that I haven't done in a while. I was on an interview with somebody the other day, and I was talking about Wired for Sound from Big Picture. I don't think I did anything from Big Picture on the last run that I did last year. Well, Rocket Town's on that record. Wired for Sound's on that record. People still want me to do Lamu. That's a blast from the past. Stuff from Eye to Eye. I've pulled out Pray for Me lately from the Go West Young Man record. We've actually done Go West a couple times. But you know what? I'm probably, Brandon, most excited about playing the new songs. Um, that's always a bit like, you know, is that the right thing to do? Because people want to hear what they know. You get certain people going, but yeah, man, you play as many new songs as you want. And then you got other people going, I just want to hear Place in This World. Or I just want to hear Friends. Um, but I'll have to say that playing Arms Around the Sun, another song called Kingdom Come, which will probably be the next single, which is just a massive, infectious pop thing. Um, Playing those two songs will make my night.
Yeah, that's awesome. Several international dates on the calendar this year too. Something
Yeah,
you're no stranger to. How do those overseas crowds compare to the crowds you play to here in America?
it's pretty unbelievable. And I have to make sure I don't throw America under the bus. Um, I mean, we got 12,000 people coming to the Netherlands. I mean, it's just, and I don't know what it is about the international thing. I've worked it for a long time. I love traveling internationally. Maybe it's because they don't get it. Like, we're kind of saturated with it. They're not. And it's almost like their mindset's like, oh my gosh, you're coming to Stockholm. You're gonna like come to Stockholm. It's kind of that sort of attitude. And the place is buzzing, man. It's just like there's energy in the room. And so I'm excited. Yeah, we're going back to London, going back to the Netherlands, Stockholm, Germany. And then a place I've never been, I'm going to Bulgaria. So it's a first for me. So I'm always excited about going someplace I've never been to.
Yeah. How do some of those first time countries work out? Is that something you take your team and say, hey, can we work this out? Or they come to you and say, look, we got a brand new country for you to go to?
Well, we got approached about the Bulgaria thing. I didn't find any reason to say no, and it kind of seemed to fit into the routing of the tour. You got to sort of really map that out just right when you're in Europe, because it's not like getting on a bus and leaving your city and going down to Ohio and going down to West Virginia and down to Atlanta. I mean, you're having to fly a lot of these days, and or a train, but that's always difficult, So, but to kind of hop around to each of these countries, it just has to map out right. So we get offers and we sort of pray it through, going, Lord, what am I supposed to do? And then, yeah, this is probably about seven cities in June.
Yeah. So no matter where you are watching this in the world, he's probably going to be within a train ride or a short plane trip from you, no matter where you are. Arms Around the Sun. We'll go ahead and say it's out there now because I'm guessing you are not going to see this today. So go look up Arms Around the Sun. The video is out there too. And then a lot more music coming throughout the year from Michael W. Smith. Good to see you, man.
You too, Brandon. Thank you. Appreciate it.